Hey guys, Chris from 6++ here, and today I've got a painting guide for you. We're going to be looking at how to paint the Necrons, and we're going to move away from the traditional silver, and we're going to be looking at that more bronze, gold, antique-y vibe that you may have seen before on the tabletop. It's a really simple technique which involves, quite simply, various layers of dry brushing. So it's therefore approachable for anyone from a beginner to a more seasoned painter. Furthermore, there are different stages, so you can kind of just do 3 or 4 stages, but then you can actually go steps further. And today I'll be showing you all those different steps so you can work out how much effort you want to put in to the finished product. On top of that, I will also be showing you how to create the glowing effect on the weapons and eyes. That's also done using dry brushing. There is no airbrushing here, so that's always a win, isn't it, really? These techniques are really simple, really straightforward, and can be applied obviously across a variety of different models and armies, to be honest. So without any further ado, let's crack on. Okay, step 1 is of course undercoating your model. I have chosen to go for Leadbelcher simply because I'm working with metal today. You could go black if you wanted a slightly darker finish, I guess. But yeah, Leadbelcher rattle can for me is the first step on good old Ron the Wraith, as he will now be known. Okay, so we've done the base coat of the metals now. Just a simple coat of Warplock Bronze. This is the bit that will take a while. Just trying to get in all the nooks and crannies and that sort of thing. Maybe a black undercoat is better just because it will enable you to not worry about little bits you've missed. Don't worry about it being perfect because at the end of the day we're going to be doing lots of dry brushing and you want that mixed metal look anyway. But yeah, overall this is the bit that will take a little while. I did use the pot paint Leadbelcher to also just re-go over the tail metal. There are lots of opportunities to do little bits of wire and that sort of thing in the Leadbelcher if you want. I'm going for a quite simple attempt, so therefore I have just gone for Warplock Bronze all over. Okay guys, so I have now done my next dry brush layer using Balthasar Gold. Less is more, so try and just have a little bit on the brush and just build it up over time, just so it doesn't go too sort of like intense on the metal. But you see you've got starting to get that nice two-tone effect there. And it's already looking like quite a nice metal. It's not particularly golden at this point, and that's fine. And you know what, if you just wanted a really simple method, you could stop there and that wouldn't be a problem at all. I have used our Lord and Saviour Nuln Oil just to try and get some action onto the metal, also just to give it time to dry, because when I end up dry brushing that with Ironbreaker later, I can then do that onto the metal at the same time as my final dry brush. So I'm doing it for timing. If I was bulk painting these, then that wouldn't be an issue. But yeah, so I have Nuln oiled the metal and Balthasar on the top of the Warplock Bronze as my first dry brush. So we've now done our next dry brush, and that was Retributor Armour. As you can see, it's quite a bit more of an actual gold. So how much you put on here is entirely up to you. It depends the sort of finish that you want. As you can see, we've kind of got quite a strong gold in certain bits. Maybe I was a bit too heavy in certain places. So try and be consistent. Again, less is more. I'm by no means a perfect painter. The idea is just the overall effect there, and you can see the effect is starting to come out now that we've got a bit more of a gold. If you think it seems a bit offish, don't worry. We've still got a couple more layers or a couple more things to do, which will help tie it all together. Our final dry brush stage is Ironbreaker. That just helps to create a nice silvery tone on top of everything else, really. And you can see how it's kind of gone on there. On top of that, I've then dry brushed Ironbreaker all along the Nuln oiled tail, just to bring it out, because we all do love a bit of a dry brush. So there you go, that is how to do that style of metal. Really simple, really quick and easy. There are a few more steps you can do, and I'm going to show you those now. Okay, so as we move on to these next steps, what I've chosen to do is wash it all in Agrax Earthshade. What you'll notice is that this has two effects. First of all, it mats down all the shininess of the metal, so if that's something you want to do, Agrax Earthshade is great for that. And it also helps to blend together the different metal effects that we've got. This is the technique I use purely for my AdMech army, and I think it works really nicely. And our final stage is simply just to go over a bit again with the dry brushing. So I've done a very light layer of Retributor Armour and then another light layer of Ironbreaker. And what that does is it just brings out the sort of the flecks of metal, kind of adds that, sort of sparkle, because the wash has obviously flattened everything down. You can see now I've got a lot of different colours going on. You can look at different angles and you've got some nice effects. So I'm really happy with how that's turned out. And yeah, you can see you've got different stages of depending on how much effort you want to put in. We're now going to look at the glow and how we can get some nice blue glow going on the lights. Okay, so with the metal complete, we're now on to the blue, and this is going to be done using Teclis Blue. So we're going to start with just base coating everything you want to be blue. You can see here that we've gone for the 3 glowing orbs on the back, and then also off to the side, down the side of the tail, one big one underneath, and then you can also see that I've done the eye. I've done the front bit blue as well, and just at the top here, and then I've also done the eye Mephiston Red. Do not worry if you start getting it over the metal bits. You do not have to paint this neatly because we're going to do lots of dry brushing. Just get that as a base kind of colour down. Make sure it's solid and you can't see through it. So 2 thin layers, as Mr. Rose would say. And then yeah, let's now have a go at some OSL. I've begun working on the OSL now, and it's really simple. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your Teclis Blue and you're going to add a little bit of white to it, and we're just going to add progressively more white as we work along. So what I did was I just added my new mixture, just kind of little dots in the middle, covering most of the blue in the middle, just leaving the original Teclis Blue kind of out on the edges. And then I did that on all the blue bits, so you can see kind of here, down there, just in the middle parts. And then I took that mixture again and I wiped a lot off the brush and I dry brushed around the outside. So you can see just on the inside of the circle there, I've got the OSL. You can see why it's not that important to be neat. Trying to get the blue kind of along these bits here, onto the metal, you can see, so we've got some, just the blue overspilling onto the metal there, and then again on the, here, just around the edge. Okay, so that's what we're looking for. That's just going to be your glow. Okay, so if you want the glow, think about where the light would be hitting it. So you can see I did it on the top here, and I just did a little bit onto the head as well. Okay, and then for the eye, I've used Evil Sunz. Okay, so that's just the next colour up. So that was a little dot, and then I've just dry brushed around, and it's just smoothed it all over. Really, you can see there's kind of like a red glow. Now I'm just going to progressively add more white to my Teclis Blue and gradually make my dots smaller until I'm pure white in the middle. Then I'm going to add some more orange to my Evil Sunz to do it there. So I'll come back with the end result next. Okay guys, here we go. Here is the finished product. As you can see, all I did was keep adding white scar in little doses to the Teclis Blue, and then just do slightly smaller dots into the middle until eventually finishing with pretty much pure white. As you can see, it's not the most incredible painting, but it works nicely. It creates that glow. All I did for the orange was I just went from white, all I went was from Evil Sunz to Wild Rider to then Troll Slayer and then Fire Dragon Bright or something like that. And yeah, just little bits. This is definitely a technique which rewards thinner layers. I haven't actually been too thin here because I just wanted to show you what it was like if you just did it normally. But the thinner you do your layer, the smoother the transition will be and the more effective it looks. And that is literally a completed Wraith apart from the base. And here we go in true Blue Peter style. Here is one I made earlier. You can see I have a red base here just with some stones on. Very simple to do. You can choose any colour. I think red works with the gold quite nicely and the blue. You could of course go for snow, astro granite, kind of that dark grey. I think all of those would be effective. Just trying to create something nice on the tabletop. I think the eye matches the base quite nicely. You will notice that this guy is a lot more golden than this one. Okay, and that's the beauty of this technique. You can literally just go for whatever vibe you want. If you want it to be more gold, dry brush heavier when you're doing your Retributor Gold layer. If you want it to be more of a browny colour, don't. It's as simple as that. So there you go guys, I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. Please consider liking, commenting, subscribing, all that jazz. We'll have plenty more tutorials on the way. And yeah, thanks a lot for watching. Take care.